All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Freehub podcast. Jackson here. Mateo, unfortunately, is not here, but we have three awesome guests, and we are recording live from Truckee, California. So something a little bit different. Our first remote episode on the road. And with us, we have the lovely Logan Dewey.
Hey, guys.
Justin Niemi. And Isaiah Thompson, right?
Thornton.
Oh, shit. I should know my
dude.
guest's last name. Bad start right
That's
there.
his stage
Bad
name.
start. Oh, man.
I'm out of here.
Oh, shit. Well, welcome, guys. Thanks for doing this. We've had a fun day. We're staying here at a cabin that Justin rented, and it's been a good time. This is our second night here. We did some awesome riding today. We hit North Star and had a pretty good time. What do you guys think? How was today?
I thought today was great. Perfect conditions.
Yeah, we had some rain, which was kind of nice. A little treat.
Yeah.
Closing weekend's always a bit busy, so, there were some lines, but not too bad. And, yeah, I think for the most part, everybody is uninjured, relatively.
Yeah. Well, we did see a crash today.
Sadly, we did.
We did. Yeah, we'll get into that. What trails did we ride today in North Star?
Well, I guess, maybe we rode all
We
of
started
them.
off
with live wire, of course.
Yeah, we did a
whole
couple
mountain.
live wires. Yeah, I guess we split off into groups, didn't we? And we
Yeah.
kind of all did a different
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
That's kind
definitely
of how
did
it
live wire.
goes. That's
Yeah.
just how it goes. Like, you kind of know as a big group, like, you're always going to split up.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think we all knew we were going straight to live wire out the gate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, we said coaster on the way up. It's like live wire, like, okay. Yeah.
Coaster laps with the boys.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
We had some pretty good dirt today, too. I would
Yeah,
say,
it
all
was
things
good.
considered. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I could follow so close, actually. I could,
Yeah.
be too close and not
Yeah.
blown out with dust.
And
which
hail.
is-
Hailing
Dust was
dirt.
down just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, we did have an unfortunate event. Our good friend Spencer had a little crash today, and hopefully he recovers. We thought he might have broken his hand, but it looks like he didn't do that, so that's awesome. But it was kind of a little bit wake-up call, so I was thinking topic we kind of dive into because we got three really good riders who I've definitely learned a lot from, and they definitely hit bigger jumps more steady than me. And so sometimes I wonder, what do people go through when they hit jumps? Because today we were kind of reminded that, it's a high consequence sport, and one mistake can really catch up to you. And so, like, judging that risk and deciding when to send, and, like, I don't know. What's your guys' process when you're hitting a new jump?
I think we let Isaiah take the floor on this one because last year we were up here and you had a crash. So why don't you talk a little bit about it?
All eyes on me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know, it's a big mental thing. And a lot of times for me, it's always been like the visual of the stuff, especially as you're progressing and getting to bigger things. My injury was just on a small hit, actually. So when you're relaxed and kind of got your defenses down, I guess, in a sense.
When you least expect it.
Yeah, kind of got your guard down and just catches you off guard all of a sudden. And but yeah, the big stuff, it's always super calculated in a sense and more focus intense, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I guess the best way for me with the bigger stuff is just following a good buddy in and stuff that's hit it comfortably before, and that's always been the biggest help for me and stuff. And
Like, what were you thinking before you hit those jumps that we hit this morning? Like, were those scary to you? Did you just, like, knew you had them? And if you knew you had them, like, what let you knew that you could just do it?
it's like I feel like I knew I had them because I've hit, like, I feel like close to that size of jumps and stuff that we're hitting. But it's just always that fear when you look at something new and you don't know the speed, or looking at that backside of it looking like you could case good on it and stuff, and don't know what's going to happen. But the bikes nowadays just bail you out a lot of that stuff. And so yeah, once you just, I don't know, you just got to do it. I don't like to think about it too much. That's usually my biggest things. When I look at it too much, then that's when I start really psyching out on it and getting all tripped out. And
I'd say I'm the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So I do I have a similar process to what you're saying, but what I do is I like use jumps in the past as like benchmarks. So when I look at things, I'm like, this jump is kind of like that jump at this place.
Yeah, I did
And
the same
the
thing.
speed kind of felt like that, right? So like the third jump, it has a big steep lip, and so when I first saw it, I was like, that's a lot like the lip at Graveyard on the step up. So I know that like coming into it, I'm going to be going really fast and feel like I'm going up and losing speed as I'm going up the lip.
Yeah.
But I also think that I spend way more time analyzing things. Like, and I know I ride with Spencer a lot, and Spencer's always just like, I don't want to talk about it. And I'm always like, no, like I'm going to look at every little thing. I'm going to check that route out because I don't know. I just hyperanalyze it. So I think
Yeah.
it's cool to see that there's different sides of it, but I don't know. I think in the past, probably I've had injuries where I was like, man, I should have analyzed it and I didn't. And so now it's like forcing me to be this way. I don't know if I was always this way.
Yeah.
But for me, a lot of people say like, oh, it psychs me out. But for me, it's like that is the only way that I can like move forward.
Just overanalyzing it. Yeah.
Yeah. When something's big enough, that's what holds you. Like, there's certain features, I guess, I've come across where you do kind of look at it a little bit more and like jump into it too much. But I have found where just when you sit there too long, though, there's like that hill you go over almost, but then all of a sudden it's like you start coming down off it, like, I don't know. And then you start, like, the doubt can get into your head, basically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there's like that calculation, check it out, always look at it, see what the landing's looking like, the backside, everything. And
then strike
the
while the
running
iron's
is and-
hot.
Yeah. What about you, Dewey? What's your process?
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to how you go through it, but then once it comes down to it, just turn your mind off and get confident that you know how to do it.
Do you think that you're more prone to being injured when you're like hyper focused on something big like that?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
do you think you're more prone to get injured when you have your brain kind of turned off and you're doing something that you've done a bunch of times?
If I'm hyper focused on it, I'm more likely to like fuck up.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like go through.
Just because
you
Because I'm just thinking about it too much, and then once I
Yeah.
get down to doing it, I'm like, oh shit, this is actually happening.
right.
Or if I just turn it off and I'm like, oh, I've done this before, I could just do it.
Yeah.
So you tried a backflip. Was it last weekend?
Last weekend.
Go
yes.
through your thought process of trying that backflip.
That was probably wasn't the best day for me to do that. I wasn't
Yeah?
planning on doing it until the Groms showed up.
Ooh, peer pressure.
You've been talking about backflipping because you can backflip on a dirt jumper.
Yeah.
So you were talking about backflipping the big bike
On
for
the
a
big
while,
bike,
and then you
yeah.
did it into foam like what in the last couple months?
Like the week before going out to Pacifica, so like 2 weeks ago, and then Pacifica the week after.
So
how,
what
how
happened?
did how did the backflip go?
Not like I had hoped.
What happened? Why didn't you get it?
I don't think I pulled hard enough. I'd done so many run-ups, and like the boost was good, everything was good, the speed was good. There was a little pocket in the step up, kind of like where if you hit that, it would kill everything. So you have to make
Pit
sure you
bikers.
don't hit that. Pit bikers, shout out the pit bikers.
Yeah, thank you for running the step up.
Yeah, shout out.
Anyway,
So you're
continue.
like going left or right of this pocket?
You have to go like right, all the way to the right and snipe it, or all the way to the left. And the right was like slightly boostier, so you go that way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a harder pull on a big bike for sure. Everything feels the same. Like as long as your form is like good.
Yeah, because
You're
you
fine.
backflipped it on a dirt jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was good.
Oh, the exact jump.
The exact jump.
Yeah.
On a dirt jumper.
Got it.
Dirt jumpers are easier to flip, in my opinion.
They're shorter,
Shorter.
less suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaiah, do you think you'll ever try a backflip?
I don't know. I've never been good at like flips just in general on trampolines or anything. And like last time I went to Woodward once and was trying them and stuff, and I was getting the pole and would just get kind of stuck at that halfway point, and I wasn't getting the tuck. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel that.
We'll
I've never
see.
been able to do flips and stuff. Like it's crazy to me that you
Yeah.
haven't tried that. But it was so sick. I want to see you land it. I want to see you roll away and stomp it.
I never thought I would do flips. Like 3 years ago, you'd be like, oh, you're going to do a backflip? I'd be like, no, fuck you. Like, there's no way I'm
Yeah.
going to do that.
Yeah, have you guys been on that note? Like, are you guys ever surprised at your progression in riding? Like, are there ever moments when like you're like surprised that you do something, or do you feel like it's very natural, like it's a progression, you've built on it and you've worked at it? Like, you know, does it seem like sometimes you have these huge jumps? You're like, oh my god, I did this, or for you guys, I don't know, maybe it's different for everyone. Or do you feel like it's a natural progression? Like, okay, I did a 1 foot jump, now I'm doing a 2 foot jump, like so to speak. I don't know.
For me, I noticed I had or at least the last year or so, I haven't had as much progression, but that's lack of riding and motivation in a sense. But I don't know. There was a period where it was like at this point, some of the things I've done, basically, I never thought I would do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those where it was like, oh, doing suies and certain things, and then you get those, and then like, oh, suies off drops and all that, and then now I've done those things, and it's like,
Yeah.
it starts to become somewhat second nature, and you just feel comfy doing it for the most part, and it like once that repetition catches up, I don't know, it just makes things more chill and stuff. But there is like a balance where there's certain things where you do all of a sudden, like recently I did have one kind of with like trying to scrub and stuff or get like Euro tables and stuff,
Yeah.
and I finally kind of cracked a good one and got one off a jump, and And then, but like trying to repeat that has been hard and stuff. So it's like you hit that thing, you get it, you feel it, and then you're like, okay, there it is. But then to do it every time, certain maneuvers, it's like it's always that commitment and really going for it and doing the right things. And when you do it or pitch your weight wrong or whatever it is you're trying, it kind of
it comes in waves. And
yeah, for sure.
What do you guys like? Kind of similar to that. When do you call it? What's your criteria for being like, this is too dangerous, I'm not gonna send this? Like, when do you guys decide to call it?
I think so. Like the last time I think I had a situation.
Yeah.
I think the last time I had a situation, it was more like I had to analyze all the factors that went into it, right? So I went to Whistler, and there's like that. It's called the Shale Master. So it's like this nasty rock kind of outcropping that's like at the top of the Garbo. And
is that
it's
like
just
that big
like
up and down thing that everyone does?
No, that's Filthy Ape. That's cool too, but that's more mellow. So Shale Master's just like it's like a ridge, and it's like got kind of some steps in it, and then it's got this huge compression that you hit, and then you hit another compression down below, and it's like loose, shaly rock. You have no traction.
Yeah.
And so I like looked at it and was like, all right, first off, I don't have hip pads. Like if I go down, it's gonna hurt because I'm on shale. I don't have any sort of chest protection, and it's day 2. So like I had 5 days to ride. So like I was like, maybe I'll come back on day 5. But then day 5, you're tired, right? And things haven't been hitting, and wind is a factor too. So I think it's like I'm always analyzing the risk. Is it worth it, right? Like what? And I think more now, to me, it's like, what am I gaining from it? We'll take Nelson's as a big, because you and I went and looked at it, and I was like, nope.
Yeah. Why'd you say no?
I was just like, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's kind of sketchy. And what is it? What am I gaining? I'm gaining that I was like, I hit Nelson's, which means nothing to anybody but me, really, right? And I can post clips on it. Cool, whatever. But like at the end of the day, and then that's what I was telling you the other day. Like at the end of the day, is anybody going to be like, well, Justin didn't hit Nelson's?
Yeah.
No, nobody cares.
Yeah, no one thinks about it. They're only thinking about their own right.
Yeah. So if you can get it out of your own mind that like, it doesn't really matter as much as you make it matter, then whatever. Yeah, and then the risk is that I get hurt, right? Because I know I'm going to go too fast, or the opposite is I'm going to go too slow and I'm going to crash and get bucked and get hurt, whatever. Yeah. Or I go too fast and blow the berm and get poison oak, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, or I just don't hit it. And if my pride is okay and I can put that away, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's what it's all about. Is it's like, one, is it worth it? Sometimes your friends being around you and hitting things too, like the Grom showing up and doing flips is like, then you were like, well, now I need to try it, right? But at the end of the day, like, we have to go to work. They don't. That's a huge deciding factor, right? Like, I have things I got to do.
Yeah, no, especially as I get older. Yeah, that's definitely
the funny thing is they were like, what do you have to lose? Like, the riding season's pretty much over. And I'm like, I got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
They're like, the riding season's over though.
It's crazy. It's not even comparable. They don't get it. And so it's not fair. It's not fair for them to compare us. I get it because they're young, but still. So, yeah, I think it's up to us, and we are really ultimately the ones who are putting the burden on ourselves. Like, we were having this conversation exactly last night. I was like, at the end of the day, if you don't hit any of these jumps and you go home, no one is going to be like, man, he should have hit those jumps. We'd be like, cool, you didn't get hurt. Everything's fine. The jumps aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, always come back and
take your time with it.
Yeah, exactly. Do it when it's safe. You feel good. You slept well.
Yep.
You ate breakfast tacos.
Bike's feeling good.
Great. Yeah.
So
that's a good point too.
Speaking of bike's feeling good. Let's talk bike setup. Justin, I know you wanted to talk tire pressure, suspension intervals.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you've been enjoying your high pivot bike.
High pivot's cool. Yeah. Well, so like last night I popped on so Chris is from SoCal. He's up here with us this weekend, and I sat on his bike and I was like, dude, this is not right. So we spent, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 minutes just dialing in his suspension, and he rode it today and was like, dude, it felt great.
What'd you change? How'd you dial it in?
Yeah. So I think the biggest one on his was that like most of his adjustments were okay, but his high speed rebound was like fully closed. Because he's into hitting big features, standalone features generally, which like so free ride guys tend to run rebound that's a bit slower when they're doing standalone features.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when you have consecutive hits, like your bike isn't coming back to square one essentially to take on the next hit. So we did a rebound adjust. We didn't change his pressure. He was happy with his pressure, but like rebound adjustment, low speed compression, high speed compression, low speed rebound, and it felt great. He was very happy today. Yeah.
Do you guys fiddle with your bikes? I'm a low fiddler. I like my coil fork, and then I have an air shock, but coil shock on my downhill bike, and I don't know. I'm not a big fiddler. How about you guys?
I'm very much a set it and forget it.
Yeah, same here. I usually, the only thing I mainly adjust is like my high speed. When I'm like bigger features, I'll hit it that extra click, and then when we're dropping into more chunky stuff, I kind of drop it back down so it's a little bit softer.
And let's clarify, that's high speed compression that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much time did you guys spend setting up your suspension?
None.
Like this weekend, for example?
Just in general, like when you first got the
when
bike.
I first got the bike,
Yeah.
it takes probably
no.
5 rides at least, I would say, on different terrains to figure out where. Like, I like to find a middle ground. Like, I know you're saying like you switch it. Like, I like to have like set it and forget it.
Something that works kind of well for everything.
Yeah, but it takes, I'd say, at least 5-10 rides. Really, like a couple months, I would say, to get it really dialed.
I mean, it's like I primarily ride jumps, so I'm going to run my suspension stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I know for sure I'm only going to be riding like tech, then I'll like bump it up. Maybe
So you're changing your suspension settings depending on what you're riding.
depending on what I'm riding, yeah.
Okay. So you're not necessarily set it and forget it then.
But for the most part, yeah.
For the most part, set up for jumps.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Isaiah?
Yeah, I'm like Dewey with that one. Just more set up for jumps and bigger hits in a sense, but I like to keep it in a balance where it's not like just ridiculously stiff, like way above my weight.
Mm-hmm.
But I do go a little bit because I'm pretty light, so I don't know, just trying to have a good balance. So it's not just like rough, because I've had times where I've had it too stiff and I got too heavy of a coil one time and like went through some chunk and stuff at North Star and just could feel like my feet were just blowing off all of a sudden. I was like, whoa, what was going on there? Like that, it just seemed abnormal and stuff. And so I realized like there is a balance, like I want that stiffness when it's on those big hits and stuff, but kind of that nice little bit of softness at least,
Do you check your tire pressure? If so, what's your preferred tire pressures?
I usually do, just because I don't know, seems like they always air out a little bit and stuff.
A little by the end of the day.
Yeah, especially at least my tires right now currently and stuff, but I usually do like just barely above 20 in the front, and I just have a kind of whatever pump, so it's not, I don't get a super accurate read on it.
Yeah.
So 20 to
20's
20,
pretty low though.
20, like probably more like 23 or so. Like I try to go kind of in between 20, 25 in the front, and then usually like sometimes 25 to 30 even in the back, just depending on where we're going though. That's the kind of thing. If I know like North Star, sometimes I know there's those rocks, so I almost do it just to be safe of if I hit anything hard, it's not just racking my rim.
Do you run
too much.
Cushcore?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and you're running
that
trail
makes sense.
casing Schwalbe's, right? You have Schwalbe's?
I'm not exactly sure on the casing on those ones, but
I think
they are
they're
the
trail.
Schwalbe's,
Yeah, I think you have the trail casings.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty low. But you weigh like what, 160?
145.
145.
Really?
Okay, that's
Whoa.
that's reasonable. With Cushcore,
Yeah,
that's reasonable.
I'm super light,
Yeah.
dude. So
Okay.
I'm running.
That's how you
I'm a
can do
skinny
series.
ass.
You just fly. You're just like, "Whee!"
yeah.
Logan, how about you? What's your tire pressure?
The back is usually almost always 30.
Okay.
And old Justin over here has been trying to push lower PSI on me recently.
A little bit.
Yeah. So my front, I'll run it like 27, 28. It's like guesstimating because my gauge isn't accurate, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like XO plus.
XO plus in the front, double down in the back.
Okay, no inserts.
No inserts.
Nice. Yeah, that's reasonable. That's pretty high in the front, but you do have XO plus, so
Yeah.
but that is pretty high.
Niemi, how about you?
So yeah, I'm pretty anal when it comes to my pressure. So I run the digi gauge. I check my pressure every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Whether or not I'm riding.
Yeah, whether or not
I wake up, I check the pressure.
Just walk
Go
out
to the
my
garage and then make sure it's
Right.
right where I left it.
Yeah, no, I check it every day that I ride. I check my pressure. Sometimes if it's like back-to-back days, I might not, but I'm pretty particular about it. So 23, 26 locally, and I run downhill casings, Continentals right now. I'm running the Crypt Totals.
I do like those. I like the Continental logo.
Yeah, they're cool. I've been running them since like March or April. I've tried a bunch of. I haven't tried any different casings or compounds. So I'm running downhill super soft, which is like a double down weight, so it's like 1,200 gram tire. They've been great. So yeah, I'm running the Crypt Total front and Crypt Total front rear as well right now. But I've tried the Xylitol on the Crypt Total rear and all that stuff. Yeah. In the bike park though, I ramp it up significantly. So I run 28 and 32 here in the bike park, which I think is like I need it. But I feel like the traction is not really necessarily an issue. It's more just like for puncture protection and hitting rocks and stuff, cracking rims. So I run a bit higher.
Speaking of bike park, what are our favorite trails at North Star? Or just favorite bike park trails in general?
Yeah.
Favorite bike park trails?
Yeah.
Well, I
Live
really
wire.
haven't seen good old live wire.
Live wires
Party
up there.
laps with the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that chatter in my wrists.
Yep.
Yeah, live wire is fun. And then after today, I feel like that TNT.
I have found like a
starting to
new love
appreciation
for like
for
that chunk of
Yeah.
TNT. I like it
Yeah.
a lot.
TNT's
Yeah.
sick. It's hard to convince people to go over to it. I think it's kind of got like people have an idea about TNT and like how gnarly it is. And it's,
I think it's
it's
'cause
people
the-
don't know how to ride steep, loose stuff, generally speaking. So it just scares them.
In the enduro series, like all the pro riders were going down hard on it. So like
Yeah,
that's what I
it
saw, and I
makes
was
it
like,
look crazy.
"Oh, that's gonna be so gnarly." And I just don't want to die doing it, so I was always scared to go over there. But it was fun. Yeah, it was super
it's
fun.
manageable
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think at the level we're at now, it's not as hard as it once was though, because we've all been making progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been scared of the tech more. I've always been better with jumping and stuff, and so that tech, I don't know, it's a good feeling though when you do get through those sections and feel smooth and finding the right lines for the most part, and or just making it through those gnarly ones. It all is
Isn't it
just a
like-
good feeling. So,
It's like notorious for being like the rowdiest trail in North Star, or
oh really?
I think
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't know.
I
top
think
to,
so.
if you
Yeah.
top to bottom it's probably the hardest.
Really?
Just because the
See,
top
I
is
think River
Like,
Sticks
'cause
is
when-
just because of that dust for me, dude.
Sticks,
I
yeah.
get
Yeah.
so
the
loose.
bottom
and
section
I just,
of Carpule where it's like fucking like rock drops, like mandatory drops. I mean, you don't have to
Yeah.
hit that, but
Well, I think overall
looks
Carp
gnarly.
has that one drop, but you can go around it.
You can go around
which
it.
River Styx has Hades, but the chute before it is awful. And I think that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about. But
yeah.
the chute at the top of TNT scares a lot of people.
Yeah,
and
I'm
even
scared
like
of it.
yeah,
I didn't
even,
look at it.
you would have had to push up to see that. Yeah.
Well, even
Yeah, I was
people that I
lazy.
know
Oh,
that
that's
are
right.
great riders like struggle really bad with that chute. So
yeah.
I think that's probably why. Like if you do full TNT top to bottom, yes, it's harder than most. But a lot of people just cut over at Boondocks and ride it from there. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Boondocks is Boondocks up there for you guys?
I like Boondocks. It's like fast tech.
Yeah, I
is fun.
love Boondocks. It's
Yeah.
like top 5 at North Star for me.
There's not a lot of like chatter in it, so your arms aren't fatigued at the
Yeah.
end of the run.
How about
Yeah.
Gypsy?
Gypsy's great.
Yeah.
I like Gypsy.
Yeah, Gypsy
Yeah, I like
and
Gypsy.
Boondocks are both like around 4 minutes if you're going pretty fast, and they're like challenging. The Gypsy's
Yeah.
sweet because it's got everything.
Gypsy has my
Yeah, it's a
favorite
good
jump
mixture.
at North Star. You
Before
know,
the
once,
tunnel?
once you go through the tunnel and then
the big
you
one.
hook left, the big
Oh,
one.
yeah,
on the
yeah,
right.
yeah, that one's
great.
sick.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
like
That one is a good one.
the first
That's a good
time
lip.
we rode.
Yeah, that's the first jump I ever did a Suey on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I remember
good
that.
for you.
I remember you cheering after you landed
Yeah,
it.
you guys were all there. Adriel
sick.
and Ben
Nice.
and you. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
sweet. Isaiah, you were there.
Was
I? think
Shout
you
out
were.
Adriel.
Adriel.
Wasn't that the
Shout out
time
Adriel.
you did that big like photo shoot with everyone?
Yeah, you weren't there.
I don't think I was for that one. That was probably just a little bit
like
before we
2019.
had started.
It was
Yeah.
linking up
It was
and stuff.
September of 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
because it was during COVID. I remember that.
Oh.
Because we
Jay
had
Wood,
masks. Yeah, Jay Wood was there.
Yeah, he invited me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. That was a fun time. But yeah, that jump is sick. I agree. But the wind, when it's windy, that is sketchy on that
Oh,
jump.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Top tech trail would probably, River Styx, TNT.
So fun.
Those are all up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boondocks is super fun, but Livewire is probably number one for most people. 80% of people that go there.
How about outside of North Star? What are your guys' favorite trails? Outside of Tree Line, because we all ride Tree Line too much.
Well, I've never really been to any other bike parks. I've been to Mammoth once in 2020, but I couldn't tell you the names of the trails.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mammoth looks sick.
The whole system's huge. You could get lost there easily.
Yeah.
It's pretty pedally too. Like if you got a downhill bike and you want to go to the other side of the mountain, it's like a workout.
Is it?
Yeah, you're climbing to get to certain areas of the mountain.
I've never been out there. Well, I've been
Yeah,
to
I mean-
Mammoth, but never the bike park. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've never been out there either.
Cheap lift tickets.
Yeah.
Lots of trails.
It stays snowed in a lot of seasons, I think, because it's so high
Like
up.
this year.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stays snowed in the whole season.
They did open.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely though.
For only like a couple months. But
Oh,
people
bad.
people were up there
Yeah.
riding like
Okay.
in the last month or so.
There's like a top section and a bottom section. In the
Yeah.
bottom section you have to shuttle, and then there's a top section where you take the lift.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm. How about locally for Bay Area? Where's your? I think we talked about this, but Isaiah,
Yeah,
Logan, what are your
favorite
favorite places to ride?
Probably Pacifica, California.
I've never ridden there.
Super top secret. Not a lot of people know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone said recently
it's
it's
in
gotten
Pandora's
overly
box.
blown up or something like
Oh,
that. So,
keep it on the
Somebody-
DL. Yeah.
but I don't think
It's all
so.
normal
It's always
mountain
chill
bikers'
when you
fault.
go there.
Yeah, it's all normal mountain bikers' fault.
Wow,
Speaking, you walked in
speaking
the
of the
door.
devil.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
Wow.
Did you
come
see him
on
coming in?
No, I just
Oh, that
was
was
thinking
good
about
timing.
it.
That was just
timing.
perfect timing, dude.
Nikki
Shout out
told
the
us-
universe.
Nikki told that story last night.
Yeah.
what's going on
Bay
in here?
Area trails. Honestly, yeah, it's hard to say. I've been there's this place in Napa lately called Skyline, and I've been riding this trail called Lower Skyline, which is
With
pretty
Jay?
sick. Yeah, Jay rides there a lot.
I'd like
So
to go there.
the downhill the uphills is long. They're long. You have a long climb, but the downhill for this one trail, Lower Skyline, is about 3 minutes, that's pretty long.
Yeah, for the Bay Area, yeah,
Yeah.
that's long, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been riding there a lot, just kind of trying to get some longer downhills. That's been fun. I don't know, favorite trail. I'd probably say something in Rockville, just because that's home
That's
turf
the
for me,
Lokes.
right?
Yeah, local.
Super. Yeah,
I really love
Snow.
crack. In
Crack is
Pacifica.
cool.
Dude, I
Yeah.
love smoking
And
crack
crack.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just,
you know?
it's a good time, man.
Crack and crack go together.
They do.
Crack
Yeah.
is
But
you're
yeah, crack-
100% guaranteed to get poison oak if you ride crack.
Really?
Yes,
don't know.
because the
There's
hike
not a
up
lot
is
of poison oak at
He's
crack.
talking about crack
Yes,
in
oh,
Pacifica.
yeah.
I've never had that.
I guess
issue.
the hike up, if
The
you're
hike
going
up,
to
you're gonna
Snaky-
get poison oak.
Yeah.
I've gotten poison oak so many times from just hiking up.
Really?
Yeah, it's awful.
I've been
Damn.
very lucky.
I don't
I've never really gotten poison
I'm not
oak
lucky.
from
I got
riding.
poison oak right now.
Yeah, I've
Really?
got it a couple times from there, but not a whole bunch. People always are like, "Oh man, like it's."
I think
always
some
tell me
people
about
are
my-
just a little more susceptible.
Yeah.
To
Yeah, I
getting
used to
it.
be. I feel like I don't get it as bad. Like I got it really bad a couple times, and I've always wondered after that if it kind of.
A certain percentage
Like,
of
I don't
people
know.
like
I still
develop-
get it, but just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I've never had it
I mean,
that
you-
bad again. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they also say if you drink goat's milk as a child that you have like immunity to poison oak because they eat poison oak. So
Oh,
you're
really?
like getting microdosed with poison oak as a
Damn,
small
Shout out
child.
goat's milk.
Shout out.
sounds like a Joe Rogan advice
Yeah,
or something.
probably.
Combine it with the elk meat.
Yeah,
Jamie, Google it.
Yeah, pull that one up. Here.
for sure. Oh man, yeah. Did you say what your favorite trail is?
Pacifica for sure.
Specifically, what trail at Pacifica?
Sebastian, you want to jump
Yeah,
on the mic?
Probably
Pacifica isn't
fly
a
in
trail,
Amanita.
is it?
I eat poison oak on a regular basis.
Nice.
Shout
Heard it
out.
here.
Shout out. Seabass is a goat.
Yeah.
You're on camera.
There we go.
Oh, camera.
On camera. All right. Looking at my list of topics, Isaiah, you said you haven't been riding as much, and it seems like you've been you got a new hobby. And tell us about this new hobby, fishing.
Well, I'd say actually it's not super new in a sense. I kind of like out of high school and stuff, I had started getting into fly fishing a bunch and stuff with my dad and stuff. And I just did that for a while, but there's a while once I started picking up mountain biking and stuff, I just kind of let that go because I don't know, fishing can be tough and frustrating at times, especially fly fishing. But when you start mountain biking, that's kind of fun every time. So it's hard I don't know. I realize I'm kind of more into that adrenaline stuff. So anyway, I was kind of riding hard for a bit and just kind of more recently just kind of got that fishing bug again and I've been doing that a little bit because I haven't been riding as much and stuff. So just after getting hurt last year on this same boys trip, actually, just kind of shifts things into perspective, and I always knew it kind of would, like when you have that first injury that's kind of stumps you and you get up and you're actually like not walking it off fully and, like you're okay mainly, at least I was still lucky, but it's just when you kind of realize you're going to be out of work for a little bit and stuff, it's scary. So just a mind shift in a sense. And just, I don't know, we had that heavy winter and stuff too. And for me, I kind of am centrally located in California. So everything, it's really good, but everything is still like within a couple hours of a drive. And so just with all that rain and stuff, it's just kind of like not motivating as much to get out and like to risk it, get out there and it's just muddy or whatever. And a lot of guys get mad when you ride the trails all muddy anyway. So
Yeah. Trail politics.
What mud?
but yeah, but with the fishing, just been getting back into the camping and fishing and stuff. And then right now too, it's kind of later summer and stuff. And after all that, we had a good winter this year too. So the rivers were kind of flowing better and they're actually too high for a while and stuff, but they finally came down and it's been doing good lately and stuff. So it's good to get back into it.
Catch and release, or do you eat the fish?
No, usually just catch and release
Okay.
for me, but yeah.
Is fly fishing expensive? Like if you didn't have any gear and you were like, I'm going to become a fly fisherman.
Yeah.
Is it
In
like
a
mountain
sense.
biking where you got to buy like a bunch of stuff?
Yeah,
10K.
you don't
The
necessarily
XX1
have
of
to.
fly fishing.
You got the
Shimano
access.
rods.
It depends. If you get bit by that bug of like you got to have all the gear,
Yeah.
like you see some guys might. But I mean,
But
if
just
you
like
have,
getting into it, like
yeah, I think
casually.
like nowadays there's some pretty solid like fly rod setups. I think you can get for pretty decent, like for a few $100 you can get
Okay.
a solid setup and get out there and just start learning. Casting. That's a big thing with fly fishing. There's kind of a period, at least for me, just like a solid kind of couple years, or depending on how often you're getting out doing it, of just really figuring out the different techniques and I don't know. There's still a lot. There's with fly fishing, I'd say you're always like, even some of the best, like you're kind of always learning with that one because there's so many different variables going on with the rivers, the bugs, hatches, all this different things that you're trying to match, and weather conditions, just all these things and stuff. So really the gear, I don't know. It's probably similar to mountain biking where there's a lot of people that are probably
gear heavy,
overly geared up in a sense, but there for just starting off, I think you could, if depending too on like the time of year and where you live, how cold rivers are. I mean, you can just wade in shorts, and you don't have to be all expensive waders. But when you get into certain stuff, it can be pricey.
Fair enough.
I've never been fishing. Have you,
No
you
way.
guys
Really?
fishing people?
My dad's a big fisherman. Shout out Ron.
Shout out Ron.
Yo, Ron.
Great man. Love that man.
Catch and releasing.
Yeah. But me personally, I'm not much of a fisherman. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
I think it takes a strong
Neither
mental.
do I. I do it, and then I'm like, why am I doing this? But then you catch a good fish every so often, or once you get it, and it's
feel victorious.
yeah, like all of a sudden it's
you
this
chase
crazy feeling, like you
Yeah.
get so amped up and just feel like you're buzzing off of it, and then I don't know. A lot of times though, you're just casting, dealing with stuff, getting snagged up, and at least for me, like I said, I really am not a super patient person, so sometimes it's funny that I'm out there doing it, but.
Yeah.
You have those good moments though, and it's always just nice to be out on the river,
Yeah, I think
out
it
in
could be
nature overall.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with mountain biking, being outside, big part of it, just being in nature and going to those places and being out there.
Yeah, most definitely.
Agreed.
Yeah. What do you guys have coming for the winter? It's going to start raining soon, and you guys got any plans coming? Justin, I know you're still in nursing school, about to finish up, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to winter break, so that'll start like mid-December. I'll have like a month off, so that'll be sweet. More or less, it's just getting out, like, because North Star's, we can make it up to North Star because I have to justify like having a pass, right? So it's easier.
Yeah.
But like when things are firing, then it's like, okay, I'm willing to make the drive. But getting down to, like, say, for instance, Santa Cruz, like during the week, because that's usually when I go. I don't usually go on weekends. It's just like really tough when you have school and work and things like that. So yeah, I'd say probably just Santa Cruz trips. Maybe we'll do another like Santa Cruz trip.
That'd be
like,
great.
Kind of like this.
Santa
but
Cruz.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I'd be so down.
Yeah. I was actually going to bring up Santa Cruz. I feel like it's the best in the winter.
Yeah.
Switch it over to UC and
Yeah.
Speaking of favorite
those trails
trails,
are great.
yeah, I feel like SC in the winter is like as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
almost anywhere. Like
Yeah, in the summer I'd be scared of that place, that steep with all that dust.
yeah, some of those
Yeah.
shoots, no way.
No.
Yeah.
No, some of my
Shout
most
out to the
memorable
guys
rides.
that rip all that stuff because it's
Yeah.
gnarly.
Yeah.
No, they're crazy. But like I was saying, some of my most memorable rides, like remember when we all rode like Poe and Jay and like, did that? Like,
Shout out Poe.
We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know where we were going, but we're just like figuring it out, and that was really fun. And so
Yeah.
I like think back on that and just having like really killer dirt is awesome too.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's a question I have. Like we were talking about, like you're saying sometimes you do stuff that you wouldn't, that you didn't see yourself doing. What advice would you give to yourself if you when you first started mountain biking? What's something you know now that you wish you could tell yourself back then?
Don't hit Triple J.
Probably. That's like it.
No, I think it's crazy to consider it because, like, I don't know when you guys all started. I feel like you've been in the mountain biking scene a little bit longer than me, but I started.
It was cross country though. I didn't start jumping till like
Okay.
2020. Yeah.
Okay, so I started in 2018. So now it's been like 5-6 years now. Yeah. I guess just like Strava doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Isaiah, what would you tell yourself?
I think the biggest thing for me, at least I helped, and luckily I didn't, when I think back on it now, I learned it quickly with riding with a certain buddy I had, and it was just futures can, like the mental and visual thing of like stuff, it just can look way worse than it actually is, and just the bikes nowadays, like, I don't know, just like when you look at stuff, it looks way worse than it actually is, and there's something about when you actually just do it, I don't know, it just feels a lot better.
Yeah. Like not overthinking it and just trusting.
Yeah,
it.
just
Yeah.
not to kind of, basically not to trip out on stuff visually would be the best way to put it.
Yeah. Makes
I
sense.
think that's
And
just
then
your
just, like-
brain sort of trying to keep you alive.
Brent's like, you might die if you do
Yeah.
this, dude.
Yeah, like
your
certain
bike is
certain
cool, but it
things,
ain't
like
that
if I
cool.
hit that, the way I'm going to rebound or this or that,
Yeah.
and then you do it and you're like, oh, that didn't even happen at all, and I hit it kind of sketch maybe, you know,
Yeah.
like where you did hit right where you shouldn't, and then it's totally fine, and so it's just like, for me, that's been a big thing, like we're kind of talking about earlier with it, is just overlooking stuff, but that's just always been for me, where it's like there's that balance of looking at it and stuff and checking it out, but just when you sit there too long, at least for me, it just
I'm the same way. For
like
sure,
looking at it can look so scary, and I see stuff where I've hit stuff blind before following people, and then go back and see it, and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty scary actually. And I'm like, if I looked at that first, would I've gotten all tripped out and psyched out? You know, where when you trust your ability, and like that's the biggest thing too, is just kind of knowing yourself. Like I've always been a really cautious rider. So
when did you start riding?
I think it was maybe about 2018 or so.
Okay.
I kind of had like a slow start into it.
time.
Like I rode when I was younger on just like a little hardtail with my uncle and stuff in Utah. And then like nothing real crazy though, just enough to where, I knew how to ride a bike and decent. But I got my first full suspension, and I think it was around that time, and I rode it for a little while. And then I actually had like an ankle injury just doing something silly, just trying to do an endo 180, and my back tire rolled off this curb that was right there. And I went to plant my left foot.
That's
and
always
just
how it
rolled
happens.
I just rolled it really bad, and that like set me out of work for like 2 weeks, I think, and stuff. And that was when I kind of just like laid off of it for a while, actually. And then when I moved into a new, me and my girlfriend got our first place together. We had just like a perfect little build spot right up the way and stuff, and that was kind of when I
That's
really
the
was
little jumps
getting
or the
into
humps
it.
or whatever. Yeah. Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dewey?
I mean, just don't be so hard on yourself and focus on the fun. Because I feel like you progress more when you're just having a good time with your friends.
Yeah.
Me personally, I feel like if I'm having a good time, I'm like loose, relaxed.
When you say hard on yourself, why don't you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, what does that look like for you?
Don't nitpick like that short-term progression where you're like, oh, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't been able to do this yet or that yet. Because when you look at the bigger picture, you're better now than you were last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I think that's really important too. Like to remind yourself of that, and like, I feel
What do
like,
What do you
I've
think,
always
Jackson?
been with that. I've been hard on myself with stuff. Where
Yeah.
it's like, you got to do this. And like when you start to know too, when you do start to get a certain amount of progression and feel, and like, you got certain things, or you like watch videos, like, oh, I could totally do that. But then you go out and you're just like, oh man, it's way harder. So to not have the pressure as much, kind of just relax about it, just go have fun. And when you progress, awesome. And
Just
when you have just
progression.
all about just fun rides with the boys, really.
Yep.
yeah.
What do you think, Jackson? What advice would you give yourself when you first started?
You don't need to buy as much shit.
Very true.
The products,
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's
that's a good
so
one.
easy to
Yeah.
get sold, and the products and
Yeah.
getting all the little tools and the headset and
Yeah.
this or that. And like I can look back and like I've probably blown thousands of dollars on just totally pointless gear that was not worth the money. It added nothing to my riding and did nothing to help me. But I thought somehow, if
then
I
you
get
feel
this or
cool.
that, like it will
Yeah.
help me in some way. And
Let's-
it's like really just about spending time on the bike more than your gear, for
Fair
sure.
enough.
Like you need a solid setup, but it's more about spending time on the bike than customizing it. And like we saw a guy today with the old gold bike, and I was like, dude, having that blinged out of a bike, there's no way that's, I don't know, correlated to your riding ability. Unless you're like,
If you look good, you ride good.
if you look good, you feel good.
Science.
But I feel like some people are so heavy on the gear side, and I definitely started like that. Like, oh, I got to get all the proper gear, and
I
wouldn't do
believe
that again.
that's true. I believe you do need to get all the proper gear. So let's talk about that. What is one thing now that you could not ride without? And what is one thing that you may have bought that you're just like, I never needed that thing, that was so dumb?
gloves and knee pads for me, and a good helmet, gloves and knee pads, and riding shoes. I was really stubborn. I was like, I can just ride in skate shoes, and I finally
same
got
here.
a pair of
Absolutely
riding
not.
shoes, and I was like, riding shoes helped a lot.
So protection
Yeah.
mattered the most out of anything else.
Protection and good tires too. I used to think that tire treads and compounds didn't really matter, and then I ran good tires, and I was like, oh, my bike feels so much better. So
Weren't you running tan walls for a while?
I still got tan walls. Yeah, I got the Specialized Butchers, and
Those are better, I think, than the Maxxis tan walls.
yeah,
Because the Maxxis
Specialized
tan
ones
walls
super
are
good.
just like EXO, right?
Yeah.
They're like the thinnest tires you
Yeah,
can get.
but I got Cush Core on the transition, so
Okay.
it's a little better. And I use that more as a trail bike, where DH has DH casing on it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Okay, so what did you spend money on that you absolutely did not need?
Dude, so much gear, like Fox apparel, like that I did not need to buy.
Yeah.
Just like shirts and shit. A whole bunch of just like little tools, little bags and stuff, which like I thought would be like really practical on the trail, but like
It
literally
sounds
just
practical,
having
yeah.
just like a solid backpack
Yeah.
was all I really needed, and a good multi-tool.
Do you wear a backpack when you ride?
Oh yeah, I always wear a pack.
Were you offended by my video?
No. It's okay.
I know Dewey wears.
we'll let
Don't
it
you bring a
slide.
pack up with you?
Yeah.
a lot?
Sometimes it's more so just so I
Yeah.
have water on me. I'll drop it if I'm
Yeah.
sessioning.
Yeah, I'll drop if I'm sessioning, but I like it. And there's been a couple times that I've gone OTB and landed on the backpack, and I'm like,
Save.
yeah, nice.
I feel
hell
like
yeah.
that has to hurt. Like if you have a bunch of tools in there, how does that not hurt?
Oh yeah, it has to be packed properly. So I used to always ride with like a windbreaker or sweatshirt, or like when
Oh,
I'd commute and stuff.
okay.
When I was like learning to ride, a lot of like my riding was commuting, and I would like do suture on my way home or whatever. And there were a lot of times I went OTB, but I'd have like a sweatshirt in my back, and I'd like land
Nice.
and be like, all right, cool.
enough.
But this was a long time ago, learning to ride. I
Isaiah,
wouldn't
do
use
you
that
wear a
as
pack?
No, I did start off wearing a pack though, because
Yeah.
the first trails I really found were just kind of somewhat of cross country in a sense, just kind of
Yeah.
up and then down and catching the downs whenever you could, and then
Yeah.
finally found places where it was
Yeah.
all down, and
Fair enough.
eventually I switched over to just
Shout
good
out.
old water bottle.
Connor Weigert,
Connor.
the OG backpack wear.
Yeah, I think when I think about backpacks, the most I think about Ryan, because Ryan will wear a backpack like in the bike park.
Ryan.
Rodriguez.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
But Connor,
Oh,
like
that's
more
hilarious.
recently, he's like my homie that wears a backpack. So
Yeah.
that's
Have you seen Ryan do a 360 with a backpack on?
probably.
That would be a flex.
I'm pretty sure he 360'd at North Star with a backpack on.
Wow.
Hell
Yeah. Wild. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
How about for you guys? What's gear that you've bought and you're like, yeah, this actually helped my riding? Or has there been anything you've bought and that's like, oh, this was a total waste of money?
I mean, on my old bike, my Canyon Spectral, I just wanted to be bougie, and I bought the red Marzocchi fork. Totally unnecessary. Didn't need to do it, but I felt cool.
It looked good though.
Yeah,
looked
It did
good.
look
those
good.
aren't that expensive.
There was like $730, I think.
Oh,
it was the
man.
coil version, so
Yeah.
I mean, you feel a difference between air and coil.
Yeah. Don't you have that same fork on your DJ too?
Yes,
it was like matching?
Yes,
That's a little bougie.
It's a little bougie, but honestly, that felt worth it.
Yeah.
because I think it has the what does the Commensal DJ have on its stock?
Some
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
Crag
like the
probably.
Manitou.
reverse
Yeah.
Manitou fork,
yeah.
and it
Oh,
just
yeah.
feels
The inverted
flexy
Manitou.
and, yeah,
Manitou
it doesn't
said
feel
no.
good.
So you said it was worth it or not worth it?
It was worth it.
Okay, what's
Yeah,
something
the
you
DJ
bought that
was
was not
worth
worth it? Downhill bike.
The downhill bike. I forgot about the downhill
Oh,
bike.
yeah.
Yeah, I bought a YT2S and took it to Mammoth and North Star and then sold it.
I
Did
feel
you
like-
lose
yeah.
money when you sold it, or did you get close to it?
It was like an expensive rental. I lost
Yeah.
like $300 on it, and if I
That's
was
not
gonna
bad.
rent a downhill bike,
Yeah.
it'd be about the same, and it'd be clapped if
Yeah,
anything.
for
So
sure. And you got to experience it. Like you got to
Yeah.
try it.
It was great.
That's
I mean,
worth a lot.
yeah, I wasn't an experienced rider back then. I'm sure if I still had that downhill bike, I'd be like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Even though I wouldn't be riding it a lot.
Yeah.
When I do get to ride it, it'd be.
Yeah, it's hard to justify having another bike that just sits around.
Yeah.
I was thinking like things I need to buy. Well, I bought a dirt jumper thinking it would help my dirt jumping, but I bought 3 dirt jumpers that I never rode. Or I rode them
Yeah.
like one time and they
Yeah.
sat in my garage for 6 months and then I sold it. And 6 months later, I'm like, I'm going to get a dirt jumper and I'm going to learn to dirt jump. And then repeated that process 3 different times. Now I'm like, okay, I don't need a dirt jumper.
Yeah.
That's probably the
Agreed.
one for me that I ended up doing. I really wanted to get a dirt jumper and kind of have that best of both worlds and like do both and progress in those different ways.
So tough.
But going from a big bike to that
Yeah.
little bike,
It's
it's really tough. And
Yeah,
if you're
it
not
feels
like
so different.
transition.
yeah,
Getting
and
used
I just,
to it.
just right away it was just way more sketchy.
Yeah.
Had like these kind of closer call and like crashes more often and stuff, and I was
Yeah.
just like, all right, is this really worth it? And then just kind of got scared out of it. And the one I got to, I don't think the fork, or at least that's my excuse, because I rode Dewey here's bike. And I like
his
hit the
bike feels
jumps.
good.
His bike
I
feels
hit
good,
the jumps
yeah.
and was just like did them no problem. And then I went back to mine and I just like was doing the same thing again. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe there's something that was compressing weird as they went off. Like it wasn't stiff enough, I think. But the same thing. My dirt jumper, I've been trying to sell it for the last like year.
Yeah. Logan, we're going to go to the foam pit tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
What's it like hitting a foam pit? Tomorrow will be my first time.
Gets in your freaking eyes, dude. Wear goggles.
Yeah,
it's
it's
kinda
pretty
dirty
like
feeling.
Yeah, I've heard it's
dusty.
gross and dirty.
It's dusty. Yeah, you have a high chance of getting pink eye. I don't know if that's true.
That's what it feels like.
If your
That's
buddy
how it
farts
feels
in
like
there
if you're
before
a
you go.
germaphobe like me. You're like, fuck, this is gross. But it's fun.
Okay.
It's a lot of effort to climb out of it, but it's good for learning tricks. It's
Is there
low
like something
risk.
you grab? Is there like a rope?
No,
or-
you're just like climbing out of it and like throwing your bike.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's usually not too bad, but if you get like for me when I went to the foam pit like one time and I was trying backflips and I kept kind of landing upside down, so I would go somewhat deep into the foam.
and then you're just upside
and then
down.
you're upside down. Oh, and a big thing for me actually was I was wearing my full face helmet and I'd like broke my visor by landing like that.
Oh.
And that was kind of a bummer because all of a sudden I
would suggest
didn't even
not
think
having a
about
visor
that.
on.
Ooh,
And
okay.
so, yeah.
Good to know.
Practice
was
how
kinda
you play,
something where-
baby.
Yeah.
You gotta wear your visor if you're gonna flip with a visor.
I wear a half shell when I ride the foam pit and the resi.
Bring a half shell.
Yeah, that seems kind of sketch.
I know, because see, that's the thing I was thinking that, like, if you do happen to have one, at least for me, because I wasn't getting the full rotation, but if you do happen to bail or something and that bike comes
Bike
down
hits you in
on
the
you,
face.
but
Yeah. I mean,
Your teeth.
just hold on.
Ugh.
Yeah.
that's the
You'll
thing,
be
yeah,
alright.
just don't bail from the bike.
Wear your
That's-
goggles.
Just hold on to it.
Yeah.
You're in the foam, it's
That's
mostly
the number
okay.
one
Yeah.
thing the instructors will tell you is hold on to the bike.
Yeah, I remember them saying
Even if you're
that.
gonna land upside down, hold on to the bike.
Really?
Yeah, you don't
'Cause you don't want it to fly up and
want it
then land
come
on
back
you.
Well, because
it,
when you
yeah.
push it away too, you almost like launch it and then it goes up.
And then you just like
Comes all the
send
way
it, hits a
down.
kid on the head, just like,
You're just like, oh
yeah.
man.
oh,
Yeah,
man.
So it's a great way to progress, though. Learn big tricks without
Yeah,
dying.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Yeah, I'm excited.
what kind of tricks do you think you're gonna learn tomorrow?
McTwist, double backflip, triple front flip,
Indian air.
Going for
Indian
gold.
air, Superman, double
Just going
Superman.
for the cliffhanger backflip.
Yeah. No, I want to try like exploring oppo whips and like just fully sending it to that side and seeing what that's like. Because every time I try to do it on a dirt jump, I go like and
Yeah.
bail it back. So
To
I wanna
go
be-
full 90 and not worry about bringing it back.
Yeah,
Nice.
and then also just try 180s, and then my dream trick is a 360. So try to work at a 360, but realistically, I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe
I think
will.
you could do it. I
We'll
think
see.
you could do it.
I gotta see how the foam pit feels.
Yeah.
Have you done a
Yeah.
360 into foam?
I've attempted. I've gotten the rotation, full 3, but I tend to land like sideways.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Hmm.
I haven't spent a lot of time doing 360s. I should probably spend more.
Yeah. Seems you got the flip down. You,
It
you don't
seem-
need to be doing the flips into
No.
foam anymore.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flipping man.
So recently, last time I went to Woodward, I tried front flips.
Oh, you really did?
It's
So
a,
sketch.
yeah,
On the big bike?
on the dirt jumper.
Okay.
No.
What's the
Yeah.
secret to a front flip? You just like squeeze the back brake and
Yeah, so there was a guy that was there that was doing him buttered every time. And he said, it's like you're going to set up to do a backflip, like you're pulling back and you're looking at your front wheel. And the second your front wheel goes off the lip and you're pulling back, throw everything forward and grab your back brake and just tuck.
seems like going against every impulse you
Yeah.
have when you go off a jump.
I mean, it sounds pretty simple when you put it that way.
It sounds straightforward, but then when you try it,
How many
gravity.
times did you just land straight to your back?
Then
Every
reality
time.
kicks
I
in,
didn't
and
do it all
gravity,
the way
and you're
around.
like, oh,
It's going to
man.
be so tough.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to
Yeah.
preemptively pull because you want
Yes.
the front end to be like bop and
Yeah,
pop.
it's almost like you're
It's
setting
like you're
up
trying
for
to
a
buck
manual
yourself
on
off
the lip.
that thing.
And
Yeah.
then you grab that brake and throw everything, point your toes down, throw everything down.
No thanks. Sketch.
Just headbang
Yeah.
your bars.
So I have no intent on doing it on any hard surface. I would
Why,
just
so
like to
why
get
even
a,
try it then?
Do you think you'll try
just
one
for
tomorrow?
the feeling?
Yeah.
I think it's a cool feeling.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try them tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
I
I'm
think I'll
excited.
probably do backflips to resi for like a half an hour and then just focus on new stuff.
Have you done a backflip
Nice.
to resi on the big bike?
No, last time I went, there was a hole in the resi, so they had it shut down for everybody.
Are you gonna try?
So
a backflip
tomorrow
on the
you're
big
going to
bike?
get
Yes.
the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
Do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it.
I think you got it. I mean, you
Yeah,
did it one
it's-
time to
Yeah,
dirt
you
and
got
you
it.
underpulled. You
I just
almost
didn't
landed
pull.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
think
pretty
you
much
got
had
it.
Just
that.
underestimated the pole.
I'm
Yeah.
stoked to see it. I want to see you do a backflip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
hoping
got it.
next week at Pacifica, if conditions are right, I will
Yeah.
give it another go.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to be there.
Yeah.
Dope.
You guys have any pet peeves in mountain biking? Is there anything you see on the trail or on another person you're just like, ugh, it bothers you? Like, what's your hater? Like, when do you become a hater?
I don't like it when people wear half shells and goggles.
Ooh, I'm guilty of that sometimes.
I just don't like it. It just looks weird. Like, glasses technology has gotten so good. Like, if I wear glasses when I'm trail riding, it feels so natural. And when you put goggles on the helmet, like, they don't fit right. They look funky. I just don't like it. And then my buddy yesterday, like, he's a firefighter and he was riding the bike park in a half shell. I'm like, dude, you know better. Like, you should have a full face helmet. You're on a $4,000 bicycle.
I thought you had to have a full face to get on the chairlift.
No, I was riding with a guy today that he was wearing goggle or just glasses in a half shell, which like, okay, whatever. But like, there's no reason you should be wearing if you're shuttling or on downhill trails, you should be wearing a full face.
You can't
There's
race
no
sea
reason.
otter unless you have a full face helmet.
That's good.
So it's funny. You can
Yeah.
do North Star with a half shell.
It should be that way.
Yeah.
You should be
Yeah.
wearing a full face helmet.
Downhill rated too.
Yeah, something, right? It's just
At
like,
least.
come on, man. So I don't really like that because it's like, I think people are just like, oh, I can wear goggles with my trail helmet and then I can do these things. And it's like, you should just be wearing a downhill helmet or a full face helmet, whatever the case may be. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves in mountain biking.
Isaiah, when do you become a hater?
I guess my biggest thing, if I'm being honest, is all the angry diggers.
Ooh.
And they probably won't like it, but because there's a lot of diggers that are super cool people and just chill about it and love people that ride their trails. But then there's a lot that just, I don't know. I feel like no matter who's on it or what it, like they just kind of get mad at people for no reason, and
Yeah.
that's probably my biggest one.
No dig, no ride type stuff.
Yeah, like, because I get it. There's that balance where it's like certain stuff, but there's just, I don't know, we all are just kind of have different schedules, different, like where we're located and where you do ride, and so for me, like I said, I've been somewhere where I have to drive kind of a couple hours to those good spots, and when you drive that far, it's hard to want to just start digging for the whole day rather than getting some laps in. But there's a good balance. Like I said, I'm not trying to be like no dig.
Yeah.
It's just the one. I've met a lot of, like, a few in between. It seems like there's mainly nice ones, but
People get possessive of trails.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I get it.
That makes sense. Yeah, I know what you mean. Totally. Logan, how about you?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that too much. Pet peeves.
Logan loves everyone.
I don't know. I just show up and whatever happens, I guess.
It's a good mindset to have, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, I don't know, short shorts or something. I don't know.
Denim jeans while riding. I don't understand it. Seems
it doesn't seem
like a
comfortable.
restriction.
I feel like a lot of the
movements.
Groms do that. I feel like it's a new.
Baggy denim jeans.
Yeah.
I think it's like a new, like with just
Yeah.
younger kids, it seems like is like going back
It's
to
cool.
baggy style
Yeah.
in a sense,
Yeah.
It's edgy.
which is kind of cool, but maybe not for when you're mountain biking.
Yeah.
Or it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we can cut this part out. We can just keep talking and talk shit. We could do a closing.
How far are we in?
We're at 51 minutes.
Wow.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's get under an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's
Looks
do
like
a.
Briss is straight up out of here. Where's that dude at?
Dude, he was up on the phone last time I checked.
Did you guys see Chris on the way in?
Shout out Durs.
Handling business.
All the diggers are going to be coming for me now. There's no way to put it.
Yeah, they're gonna be
Isaiah's
sad.
gonna get
Isaiah's
canceled.
banned. Have you seen him on every trail?
I've just had guys where it's like, instead of just approaching you like, hey man, how's it going? Like
It's just
like,
a
it's like,
cold-
where are you
yeah,
from?
exactly.
Why are you here? And it's
Yeah.
just like, if we're more inviting, then like I would come help you dig. But when you just like kind of write me off right out the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, that's not the overall.
I've definitely had a sour experience with,
Yeah.
a certain riding area.
Yeah.
It'll be unnamed, but yeah. Dun dun dun.
Bom, bom,
To be
bom.
continued.
To be continued.
Find
All right.
out next time.
Find out next time.
Next time, Isaiah gets canceled.
In the riding community. Cool. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. Thanks for doing this, guys. This has been fun. I realize this is the most amount of people. We've only done 2 to 3 people before. It's the first 4-person podcast, so this is
Nice.
cool. And thanks guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking. Thank you for tuning
Yeah,
in.
this is a big
course.
step for me. I'm very nervous speaking into a microphone.
Yeah,
so-
we got Logan on the mic. It's taken a while. Yeah, I've been trying to get Logan to do this, and I'm
Yeah,
happy
same
that he
here.
finally did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I barely talk in general usually, so
Yeah.
on mic it's like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Thanks
that's
for coming
on
on.
me.
All right. Bye, everyone.
peace out.
Bye,
Peace
Mom.
out. Thanks for having us.